Makers, la mette in mezzo, bella tiro, gol! Luka Modric, ha segnato Luka, ecco il gol del maestro, ha segnato Luka Modric,
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the SempreMilan podcast. I'm your host Ollie Fisher, joined once again by Anthony Torgrud over on the right side this time.
Oh, that's what's different. Yeah, we're on the wrong side. Well, fixed it.
There we go. That's better. Because if we break what we've got going, then our run might end. Right?
Exactly.
Like if you're superstitious, if you're superstitious like that, which I am.
Definitely. And as you guys see, I shaved my head because we did win 5 games in a row. Sorry, Manchester United, but you'll get there next time, I guess.
Did you see that guy get fronted on the concourse by someone? Oh, it's pretty bad.
That's crazy.
Pulled his hair. Very strange behavior.
That's how you know they're in the mud. They're just like, it's
they
fault.
are. Yeah, the people praising him, like, good on him for going and doing that. No, that's assault. I wouldn't recommend that, especially in a public place like that. So, you might notice something else a little different. In addition to our new audio for the intro, which I'm still loving, like it feels nice and fresh, but also it's Luka Modric, so he's everybody's favourite man at the moment. We've got the names of the Substack founding members scrolling across the bottom now. I floated the idea in the Discord, which you can become a part of. It's our sort of like exclusive chat, would you call it? Yes, like
sure.
that. Yeah. Floated the idea just because we're at 30 plus names now. So me reading them out, it's going to get to being about 2 minutes long, basically. As is this current explanation that I'm giving, but it's a one-off. So yeah, we've got the names going along the bottom there of our founding members. We really appreciate all the support that the shows. If you've listened to us for a while, you probably know the names off by heart, like I nearly do. But we got to shout out 2 new founding members, and I will shout out new founding members. I think that's the least I could do. Joey and Nick Hellberg, welcome to the family. Good time for you to join because we are shit hot at the moment. We got a couple of games to talk about. We got a Lecce Cup review, and
I deleted that one.
I mean, it's kind of vanished to the back of the memory, but if we get 3-0 wins, we should talk about them. And then obviously the big one, Napoli, and we've got a big game to preview too, Juve. So yeah, it's a big week. I'm going to do a little Substack plug now. You might have seen that we started doing some instant reaction videos. Stefano hops in front of the camera. He did a live stream for the Napoli game. So we're going to try and get those going with more regularity, especially with some big games coming up on the fixture list. And he also does a little post-match breakdown, just a bit of shorter form stuff. As I said, it's instant reaction, so you don't have to wait 24, 48 hours for us to do the pod. And the pub chat, they did an in-depth preview of that game, and I would go back and listen to that retrospectively because they hit on a few things that ended up materialising. So yeah, that's those 2 of the things that Stefano's done and Lorenzo too on the preview. The bonus podcast that me, you, and Madison did at the end of last week was about the things that Allegri has changed culturally within the squad to create a better environment. And I think it's fair to say we're seeing that play out. You know, the train is moving and it's going pretty well. We're at full steam now. And Isaac's most recent bonus article was about Milan Futura, who obviously got relegated to Serie D last season. And Moncada gave an interview towards the end of it when we've been relegated, saying it doesn't really matter what level we're playing at. And a lot of people kicked off about that and said that, you know, it's unambitious, you know, it's irresponsible to say something like that. But Isaac dives into why he might just be right in what he says. And the Futura have actually started the season well. They're unbeaten. So, they are playing amateur teams. But yeah, that's all over on the Substack. You can go and try a week for free to see if you like it. But it's going from strength to strength there. And yeah, we really appreciate all the support. Okay, let's talk about the Lecce Coppa Italia game. We can kind of skim over this one, which feels weird to say about such a comprehensive, convincing win. But the entire game, I mean, we battered them up until this point, and we just couldn't find the back of the net. But the entire game kind of changed, as the Napoli one did, around a red card. Christopher Nkunku rolls his man and gets brought down. Now, I initially thought that the free kick and the yellow card was sufficient punishment. And then there was a VAR review, and it's been determined that it's a denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. It's a last-man tackle, And yeah, he's been sent off. Jamil Siebert, the centre back who got sent off. Do you think that was the right decision? A little harsh to kill the game at that point, or
Yeah, I do think it was harsh. I think okay, so this is a very meta overlook of it. I mean, Milan's a much better team than Lecce. We're clearly the favorites. You know, we're going into this expected to win. It wasn't even 20 minutes played yet, and I didn't feel like it was really that deserving of a red card. Now, the really easy and obvious counterpoint to that is it doesn't matter what the betting lines are. You know, if it's a red card offense, it's a red card offense, right? And that's true. So ultimately, I did celebrate it, but yeah, I mean, if I'm a Lecce fan, I'm thinking that was pretty harsh. Like, there's always the opportunity for an upset in every game, and when you get a red card in the 19th minute, you know, it almost feels that from you. So I do feel for them. Maybe because we are on such a tear. Because had we have lost the 2 games prior to that, you know, I would have said that's exactly what we needed, was a little bit like that. So it is what it is. The circumstances change it all, but I mean, it led to Santiago Jimenez goal for the first time in the whole season, and he
4 months,
really needed something crazy like that. Yeah, so I mean,
yeah, I don't. So I don't understand the interpretations of the rule that led to this particular red card, because my understanding was that they take the double jeopardy thing like no longer applied. So if it's a last man challenge and the attacker goes down, then you know the foul will be given. But if the defender or whomever it might be has made a legitimate attempt to play the ball, then it can't be a red card. It can only be a red card if it's a shirt pull or, you know, they hold them down or whatever. They're not trying to play the ball, basically. For me he's a split second behind it, so it looks like an obvious foul, and it was an obvious foul. But I do think he's gone to try and get the ball.
Yes, I agree.
So it feels a bit harsh. Now, apparently, the double jeopardy thing only applies for penalties, because part of that is you getting a penalty kick. So the fact that it's happened outside the box might actually be what fucks him. But that just seems backwards as well, because it's happened further away from goal, and yet the punishment is more severe. You know, I think it's very, very strange.
The double jeopardy thing anyways, because in my mind, you make a red card challenge in the box, you should get the red card, and it should be a penalty. So why would you not give that? Like, I don't know. The idea of double jeopardy is weird to me. Now, I can't think of an example where it's valid. I'm sure there is one, and the comments will let us know. But yeah, it's strange. I don't understand that rule. I mean, I know I just said it was harsh, but at the same time, like,
I mean, it went in our favor.
You know?
So you know, it's sort of. It's not patronising, but it's sort of like, oh, unlucky Lecce. You know,
exactly.
First big decision went against you, and you just never, you never had a chance after that. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was an interesting incident.
I know, like, he didn't get the ball, and it kept going. But how do you play advantage for like 2 seconds? Jimenez did get to the ball after that, which almost makes it say like, well, see, it wasn't the last man. Now, yes, at the time of the challenge, Santi was behind him, but no one was anywhere near him to catch up, and he got straight to the ball and was in the box afterwards. So it's almost like, if there's ever an argument that it wasn't a last man challenge, that's your argument. Yeah. It's a very flimsy one. It's not holding up in a court of law, but you know, you have an argument, I guess.
Yeah. It was just a moment that killed the game, ultimately. As I said, we'd started well before that. It's not as if Lecce were on top or anything. We were creating chance after chance. And after the red card, we did something that I thought was good, and you know, it deserves praise, because a lot of the rest of the summary is going to be sweeping statements about how dominant we were and things, but we didn't really give them chance to adjust defensively. We just got the ball wide and started loading it into the box, and I think that they struggled from that temporary disorganization, and that's how you see Santi Jimenez sort of unmarked to tap one in from a few yards out. Now, it wasn't the most convincing of finishes to say that it was an empty net.
They never are.
Yeah, but like I've spent the last few weeks saying he just needs one to go in off his ass or whatever. That's fine. That'll do. You know, it was a lovely ball from Bartizaghi, and I must give him a shout out because I thought he was excellent all game. Don't get me wrong, the circumstances of the game meant that he got the ball a lot more than he probably normally would, but the service that he was putting into the box was outstanding, and he should have had a couple more assists.
You're talking about Bartosagi.
Bartosagi, yeah.
Okay, yes. I thought you were talking about Jimenez. Yeah. No,
No.
Bartosagi looked great, and he definitely deserves a shout-out. We'll get to it in the Napoli game, but I thought when he came on there, he was well and above better than Estupiñán there as well. So, he might be that guy soon. Who knows?
He could be. I never had him down as a wing back because I think you look at his frame and the fact that, if anything, he's played more as a left-sided centre-back than as a wing back, but he's probably more naturally just a full-back. Obviously, we don't play with that, and I guess Allegri's sort of wanting to shelter him by not playing him left centre-back at the moment because it's quite a big jump, but to get minutes at wing-back and just to be asked to go forward and to be a threat, and he did that. He ticked the box of everything that you would ask for a wing-back in that role, and as you say, I think that performance was better than anything we've had from Estupiñán just yet. But again, the situation of the match meant that he was given that license to do that. Into the second half, then Nkunku gets his first goal, and what a banger this was!
Yeah, man, that was fucking cool. It was perfect. I mean, so Salamakers again must be said, player reborn, right? Beautiful cross and scissor kick Nkunku right in the goal. I mean, you can't ask for a better first goal with your new club, right? And then the way everyone gathered around him for the celebration. I know the balloon thing's about his kid or whatever, and I don't think it's that cool of a celebration. I think it's a little weird to carry around a balloon in your sock and then blow on it while you're out of breath from playing soccer.
Yeah,
but whatever.
It gets a hole in it,
right?
Yeah,
it just
doesn't work.
All the sweat that's going in there, and then you're putting it in your mouth. It's like,
no thanks.
Grosses me out, but nonetheless, cool photos, cool celebration. Everyone gathered around. Yeah, so good for him. I'm super happy. I'm glad. I had a feeling he was going to come good. I didn't think it was going to be instant impact. I mean, yes, Lecce in the cup is not quite Napoli or Juventus, which he didn't play. So, but yeah, very, very happy with him.
I feel like Nkunku's impact has been bigger than what the stats will show as well. So all you'll see at the moment is one goal, and that's in the Coppa Italia. But feels like whenever he's come off the bench, in this case, he started the game obviously, but whenever he's come off the bench in league games, he's always done something. He's made something happen. So this game he gets the goal and he draws the red card, but we know that he should have drawn a penalty in that game previously with all the VAR scandal and stuff like that.
And he also had a pseudo assist for one of Pulisic's goals, where it was saved by the keeper, then bounced to him. I mean, obviously that's not an assist, but comes from him. So.
And then so that was on 50 minutes, and then 64th minute, Pulisic kills it off. He came off the bench. I was a bit surprised about that, about sort of bringing him on when we didn't really need to, but he did at least get a goal pretty quickly. I think 3 minutes after coming on, he got a goal with it was a lovely team move, was that one, and a great cross by Fofana of all people. But just a gorgeous flicked finish. There's something about the way that Pulisic's playing at the moment where everything he touches seems to be turning into a goal.
Is it 6 goals in 7 games or 7 goals in 6 games and 2 assists?
I think it's 6 in 7.
Okay. I mean, he's a man on a mission right now. He's on fire. I don't know what came over him, but I'm very happy it did. If he continues this trend for the rest of the season, he's in talks up there. I'm not saying Ballon d'Or or anything crazy, although he should. But definitely that world-class label is getting stamped on him. If he can hold this trajectory the rest of the season, I mean, he's top 5 in Europe right now, right?
Yeah, I'd say so in the position. Yeah.
Oh, I meant in goals scored. I'm sorry. I should specify.
Oh, right. Yeah, he is. He's on 8 goal contributions in 7 games this season. So to be going at above 1 per, and some of those have been bench appearances off the bench. So it's not even like they're all full 90s.
I think he's averaging a goal every 15 minutes, goal contribution.
No, and the thing with him is, and obviously we're going to talk about his goal in the Napoli game too, but I think it's important to mention it because it was more so for this goal. He isn't necessarily blessed with anything that's absolutely outstanding. Like, he's not explosively fast like Rafael. He's not tall to get on the end of headers. He's not, it's just that he's a really, really sound technical player. So I'd say, technical ability, he's world class. But his movement and just this knack for being in the right place at the right time is something that you can't really teach. It's almost like a striker's instinct that he has, but he's never actually been a natural striker. Of course, we've changed to this split striker thing now, but he's playing more as a second striker with the spaces that he finds himself in. It hasn't made a difference. He's still finding himself where he needs to be to score goals, you know, and some aren't this one was a really tidy finish. The Napoli one, he just hits hard and it takes a bit of a deflection, but it literally doesn't matter because the important thing is that we have someone there for those goals. And he's been massive in that sense. Love to see it.
Yeah.
Who else?
A big part of it is, taking the summer off, avoiding the Gold Cup. I know there's a lot of drama behind that, but he said he needed a rest to get back to his peak. Well, maybe he was right. Maybe he is silencing all those people right now, which is good. That's exactly what you need to do after you make a statement like that, like turning down your national team for the summer. And he also has that documentary ongoing that there's been some comments that I don't think painted him in the best. Like, he said, my goal is to be the best in the world. And I think a lot of people kind of scoffed at that, like, well, good luck, buddy. So now he's like, well, I better start scoring twice a game, and hey, keep
Ballon
it
d'Or 2026.
After USA wins the World Cup?
Yeah, well. Hey, who knows, mate? Home advantage. I'm sure Don will work something out.
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of players that came off the bench, Atakame, I keep reading that. Someone tweeted the Berlusconi thing. Attaccare. But I can't stop reading it as Atakame now. I thought he looked pretty bright. But again, I just keep referring to the situation of the game, and like there was because Lecce had to adjust by becoming a bit narrower. There was so much joy for the wide men, for the wing backs, and it was almost like they seeded the wide areas to try and keep things together in the middle. But Atakame came on, and I thought he added a lot of energy, and he looks pretty big. He looks like a more commanding physical presence than Salamanca's on that side. But obviously, Salamanca's has that starting spot bolted down for correct reasons. Valenciennes came on. I thought giving him 22 minutes was good. I like him. There's something about him, and I don't know what it is. I mean, look, is he going to get minutes in the majority of league games? No. But there will be moments where I think you can have a little look at players like this. And we got Odogu on 10 minutes after him as well. Now, they both went and started for Milan Futuro the next day. So I think the mission is obvious to try and keep them in rhythm. And we'll see if they stay with the Futuro on a more permanent basis now their season has properly kicked off. Or if it will be a case of they're a couple of the players that ferry between the first team and the
neither
B team.
got called up for the Napoli game either, so...
Yeah. So there is that. That may now be their home for the time being until, and hopefully touch.
Who could have seen this coming? A 19-year-old? Wow.
It's like when the report came out, it's like, don't worry, he's signing for the Futura, and it's like, okay, no, he's straight up our fifth choice centre back. But yeah, it good to get him 10 minutes. It's his San Siro debut and everything. But that's all I've got really. I wanted to show the stat line from this game because it's probably the most one-sided I've ever seen. Genuinely. 77% possession. And I must say, looking at that XG there of 4.33 to 0.17, I mean, that is obviously a huge discrepancy between the two teams, but it's to be expected. 9 big chances to 0, 24 shots to 2, 10 shots on target to 1. It's a bit of a joke that they even had a shot on target. It was from a free kick that Maignan kind of saved fairly easily. 12 corners to 2. It's utter domination. It's what you'd expect. They apparently, I don't know if this is true or not, but I remember reading that they made 10 changes and that felt a bit right. So they kind of threw the game, basically. And, their focus has to be on trying to stay up this season. And a few days later, Kamada, who started in this one, would go on to score his first Serie A goal. Well done to Francesco Kamada, 93rd minute equaliser, and a great header from a corner too. But he didn't get much joy in this one. I think a lot of people were watching to see how he got on at San Siro against his parent club. He already said before the game that he wasn't going to celebrate if he scored. I don't think he touched the ball a handful of times. I felt a bit sorry for him, but you go down to 10, you're not going to get much service.
I think that's. I mean, look, okay, he's a child. So, give him a bit of grace. But what a funny thing to say before. For someone who hasn't scored a career goal yet, in the league. I won't celebrate if I score, but no one expects you to.
Yeah,
you haven't done it yet.
I mean, he did get asked it, so what's he going to say? I'm not
I
going to
didn't
score,
know he was asked it. I thought he like, offered that up. I was like,
the interview is like, what will you celebrate if you score? And he just says, I don't plan on scoring. You'd be a bit more worried if you
not
said
good
that.
enough, man. Sorry.
Yeah, get rid of him.
Okay, fair enough. So I take it back.
3-0, job done. Lazio in the round of 16 away. And because we finished below them last season, we have to go to the Olimpico for that one. So it's a bit... Yeah, I mean, Lazio are a bit hit and miss, aren't they, already so far this season? But anyway, I think the important thing is that we were able to get the job done with minimal fuss. And because of that red card and because of us being 3-0 up midway through the second half, bit of rest and we could play the game at a lower intensity, even though, as the stat line shows, it was a bit of an attacking training drill for the most part. Yeah. And if I was to be a little bit picky and a little bit cynical, I would say it should have been 6 or 7. Like we missed some big chances, and this leads me on to
crossbar 4 times.
3 times we hit the post and woodwork. Yeah, I think as of the Napoli game. Going into the Napoli game, we'd hit the woodwork 11 times, and the next team around Europe in all comps was Real Madrid with 5 times hitting the woodwork, so more than double the second most in terms of posts and crossbar hit. It's a game of margins in that sense, but I thought we did miss some pretty big chances. Santi, even though he scored and broke his duck, should have had more. It didn't fill me with confidence, even though he did get that goal. So he's probably my flop, as harsh as that is, because he scored. I think there's your chance to get a hat trick to really unload and really shake it off your back. But
I mean, I guess that's it. I'm just looking at all the people who played, and I don't think anyone really put in a bad shift. And you can't even pick any of the subs, right? Because they all like the ones that you would expect. The 2 young kids. You can't really pick them as a flop because they played 10 minutes and they didn't do anything bad. They just didn't do anything incredible either. So I don't know. It's one of those games where everyone's a winner except for Lecce. So
they did not win.
Yeah, but I think probably Rabiot's my top again. I just think he's been phenomenal, and finally a game Modric into play. So Rabiot was able to win man of the match for me because it's usually Modric or Pulisic, and this game neither played.
Rabiot actually kind of took on the Modric role in this game.
Yeah.
He was the one who was sort of quarterbacking the attacks, if you like. Now, I understand that, the fact they were down to 10 men and everything gave us way more space in midfield, and it became easier to dictate the tempo and those kind of things. But he played some lovely direct passes, some line-breaking passes, and he always seems like a threat when we're going forward, does Rabiot. So I've been mega impressed by him. This game is, it's not going to be the crowning jewel for anybody because it's Lecce and because of the circumstances. But there are a few players who I think will only gain in confidence from it. I'll go back to Zaghi because I said he'll never work as a wing back. But he proved me wrong with a great performance. But I think there's a few that you can pick out and say, they were impressive. But the job's done. Let's move on to the big one. Sunday night against Napoli. And because of Juventus drawing with Atalanta prior, the equation was pretty simple. Beat the defending champions and go top of the league. Beat them we did.
On top of the league we are.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
Yep.
Sounds good.
Season's over. Let's end it there. I'm good. Yeah.
Stop the count.
Stop the count, indeed. Yes. Pinned to my profile. Some people did not understand the reference. It's been that long since we were top of the table, but fantastic to be back. Feels good. Our rightful spot on top of the throne. Where do you start? Well, I guess the goal in the 3rd minute, right? That's the appropriate place. What a run from Pulisic. I mean, I know we just talked about how he doesn't have crazy speed or any of that stuff, but
fair point.
He did turn and he took a very heavy touch on it that I thought, well, there goes that one. He got there and then he took another heavy touch and he kept it in bounds somehow. And then just a beautiful, beautiful cross. I'm so glad he didn't try to get to Santi in the center. And it wasn't just like that's not how I want to pick. He was also pseudo covered. There was.
He was. Yeah.
It wasn't Marianucci. I don't remember which one, but one of them was within a zonal marking of Santi. So he just went in front of him. Salamaker's far post wasn't even there yet. He just saw the run coming. Salad obviously put his hands up and said, like, I'm gonna make a run here. And he just trusted that he would be at the end of it. And he got there. 3 minutes played. I think it was 2 minutes and 20 seconds to be exact. And 1-0 up against the defending champs and league leaders. You can't ask for a better start than that.
No, you cannot. You cannot. And I think a lot of the build up to this game was dominated more by Napoli and their selection problems, because we know Bongiorno had gone down with a muscle problem in the last game. So they were going to be required to change at least one centre back. And it was thought that Rahmani would come back. He'd been injured since the international break, but he wasn't quite ready yet. And then there was problems with the fullbacks as well. Spinazzola sustained an injury. So all of a sudden they were having to change 3 of the back 4.
And Bukema was gone too.
And Bukema, wasn't deemed fit enough to start either. So anyone who knows a Conte team knows that he likes a settled defence, and that is, but as an opponent, so sometimes I think a situation like that can play into your hands, because maybe that then made Conte's mind up of like, let's just go for a point, or let's just see how the game sits after 60 minutes. Let's hang in there. But what all we can do is beat what's in front of us in that particular circumstance. And what you want to do to try and exploit that uncertainty and all the changes at the back is spin them around early on, get them running back towards their own goal, and we'll see how organised they are. And the answer is they weren't. As you say, I think sometimes a bad touch can benefit you. And that's not meant as a criticism at all, because he shows great tenacity and endeavour to even try that spin move. But it takes it wide, and the sort of visions of Bale in that Coppa del Rey final, where he like runs around out him and gets on the end of it, beats the man, and he takes it to the byline. And Santi twice like gestures, cut it back to me. But as you say, he was covered, so that would have been a bad move. And there was also a moment. If you go back and watch the highlights, I wish I had the freeze frame, but it's when he is just about to get to the ball on the touchline that you can actually see Salamaker's on the other flank, and he realizes what's going on, and he just bombs. Can see him. He just bombs straight for the back post. And I think that sort of awareness and anticipation, something that's happening 50, 60 yards away, but he knows I could get on the end of this. I think that's the kind of thing we would not have seen last season. No. Players are making the right moves in almost every situation. We'll come on to Estupiñán, but absolutely dusted him. Lovely cutback, lovely goal, and that kind of set the tone, because I thought that in this first half we were outstanding. We really, really had them. Now, I don't really get what Conte's doing at the moment with this system, this 4-1-4-1. I think it's that he's got 4 midfielders that he thinks he needs to start, and therefore he's determined to start them all. But rather than playing like a diamond or whatever, he's doing something a bit weird with like McTominay out on the left and De Bruyne and Anguissa, and then Lobotka playing as the man in front of the defence. And it does actually kind of look like that in the games. I thought it'd be sort of McTominay moving infield to be like a number 10 type thing. But it just doesn't look, they don't look the same. At the moment, to me,
it really neutralized all their threats, this formation. I mean, I can't even point to one moment where I saw McTominay on the pitch. Obviously, he was there, right? He played 73 minutes. I had to double check, but I genuinely didn't see him once, and I couldn't think of anything he did. De Bruyne was, getting just bossed by Modric. There's a video that Milan posted on their official Instagram of them going head to head, and Modric just stealing the ball, running, and De Bruyne falls down on his face, and super disrespectful video to post. I love it, because a lot of people are just like fully counting Modric out in this comparison and said De Bruyne was better, and that just shows you how young and make believe these former City fans were. I say former, I don't know, I just talking shit, but he looked awful. Obviously scored a penalty, but I'm sorry, that's stat padding. That's been his whole season so far. And you swap. What the hell are you doing? What happened? I don't know. The screen just.
I know, and then it went back. I don't know. I didn't press anything. Okay,
you're doing stuff. All good. It threw me off. And then Politano, I think he did well, but I can't remember either. In my head says he did well.
But he always does well against us, even since his Inter days. He's been a bit of a thorn in our side. He's he's someone that I wouldn't mind having to be able to throw on off the bench because he's pretty damn fast when he gets to his top speed, and he does have a goal in him. It's just to be a starter for a team like I just look at the spine of the Napoli team that played us. Meret in goal. There's doubts about him because it's like they've got a 1A and a 1B rather than like an actual starting goalkeeper. Juan Jesus and Marianucci as your centre back pairing. I mean that would be your last
debut.
Yeah,
as well.
And I like Marianucci, actually, but I just think that was a real baptism of fire for him. You know, they would probably be your 4th and 5th choice centre-backs in a usual world. So that's a tough one. Lobotka, again, I really like him. But when the game isn't going Napoli's way and they don't have the lion's share of possession, like they didn't really in the first half of this one, he does become a bit of a passenger. You know, he doesn't really assert himself as physically as, say, Anguissa, who's another player that I like. But yeah, then Højlund up front, he just isn't doing what Lukaku does. We know that Lukaku is Conte's comfort blanket. I just don't really know how that's going to look moving forward because they're basically having to reinvent the way that they play. And then, like Politano starting, is that what a champion side should have? I don't know. I think the selection was pretty safe, to be honest, from Conte. Maybe even negative, you could go so far as to say, because they brought on David Neres, and he looked like he carried way more of a threat. Elmas, we both like as a player. Noah Lang. Gilmore comes on in the 90th minute. You know, if the midfield's not working, can you bring him on earlier? Højlund came off in the 73rd minute, and he was replaced by Luca. So rather than go two up front and be more direct, he just swapped striker for striker. Don't know. I thought it was a strange one, this from Conte. I think those injury problems clearly threw his plans that he was preparing, and he had to try and adapt and react as the game was unfolding. And
I think he wasn't
his finest hour.
I think he wanted the point based on this lineup, and you know, it's attacking, but it's also not. You know, like all the 4-1-4, that top part, they're all very capable of scoring goals. But also they're all very capable of sitting back and just preventing. And after 30 minutes, when we're up 2-0, you know, the things are not looking good for them. Once, you know, we get a red card, they score a penalty, it's 2-1. They know they have 30 minutes, which turn into, you know, basically 40 because there's 7 added minutes and then some. He threw on everyone. He brought on 4 attackers, you know, and Noah Lang, David Neres, Luca, you know, all these fast forwards that could put balls in. And to be honest, they did well. We were under siege for that last 30 minutes. Before we get to that, I guess we'll talk about the second goal because we didn't do that yet. But
this came at the perfect time for me because it was sort of, obviously we're 1 goal up, and I think you can sometimes get caught between what you want to do there. Are we really going to try and sit in for 87 minutes for a 1-0? Probably not, but it's just a case of you've got to take the next big moment that comes. And this was a really, really nicely worked goal right on the half-hour mark. I say nicely worked. It comes from Pavlovic chaos. But we joke about it and we say it looks clumsy, but it can be really effective to have him step out of the back line because he's nobody's man. Like, nobody knows who to... Sorry.
Nobody's marking him in their own box.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then it causes all of the confusion of like, well, someone's got to step across and then they're leaving their man. And, you know, it kind of messes with the assignments. And I think as a limited use weapon, it can be pretty good. But yeah, he manages to drive into the box down the left side, cuts it back into a dangerous area where Yusuf Fofana is for whatever reason. But good on him for, I guess, crashing the penalty spot. And he lays off it's like a 3-yard layoff, but it was perfectly weighted. And talking about Pulisic's
first time pass too.
It was nicely done. We talked about his movement and knack for being in the right place at the right time. He arrives, puts his foot through it. It does take a slight nick, and Merit's kind of wrong-footed by that, but crashes into the back of the net. And it's like dreamland, really.
Yeah.
Dreamland. And I want to say that I felt like on the balance of the first half, we definitely deserve to be going in up a goal.
Yeah.
2 was like, oh, things have really fallen into place for us here. Like for
I was
once
nervous at
Napoli.
halftime. I was with Milan Club at DC, and we're talking about it, and I said, guys, I remember the game in 2023. We were up 2-0 at halftime. Giroud brace. That game ended 2-2. And I just kept saying, don't get too excited. We all were, multiple beers, celebrating, laughing, high fives, jumping around, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, don't get too excited as I'm doing it. And then, the penalty came very quickly after that, 10 minutes after halftime. And it was like, okay, here we go. And we should talk about Estupiñán because, look, it's no surprise he's going to be the flop of the match for obvious reasons. But also, he did not stop a single cross coming in from his man the entire time he played. When Bartosaghi came in, and I didn't verify this, but Derek claims he did, 0 crosses from his side. And I don't know if he was stopping them and they just weren't being passed up, but that's a big difference, right? Maybe they just changed how they were attacking. I don't know, but I feel like you would go after the side that is short a man and with the child now playing in reserve. But so Estupiñán, I mean, Mike makes another incredible save. He made so many this game. And the ball almost falls to a Napoli player, but ultimately I don't think he was even getting there. And Estupiñán just yanks him down from the back of this shirt. And in 2025, when there's cameras everywhere and VAR, what are you doing? Like, Estupiñán's not even an old enough player to be like, just back in the day, you should be able to hide that. Like, no, you've only played in the age of camera. So what are you doing? Like, you don't know anything, but they will always catch you. And you could say, well, a penalty, you could save a penalty, but it's the 57th minute. You're up 2-0. I would rather you let them score and we still have 11 men versus 11 men. Don't give them a penalty, go down to 10 men, hope you save it, because guess what happens? We didn't save it. And now it's 2-1. The deficit's cut in half. And they have more players on the pitch than us for the majority of the game, or basically the entire second half. And it's it puts you in an objectively worse spot. And I know it's a split-second decision.
Yeah.
But your instinct should never be red card and penalty. Because that's what that is. That's not, I'm going for the ball, I'm trying to stop this. That's, I'm pulling you down and we'll deal with the consequences.
It becomes like a playground thing, like playground instinct, like you stop your mate from scoring. Like, no, you're not getting to that. It was like a more egregious version of the Terracciano one when Bologna got that last minute penalty. Filippo Terracciano, that is. He pulled down his man at the far post as he was about to, I think, probably tap it in. And I think he scores in this one as well. Looking at it, especially the aerial shot, he is going to get there and put it into an empty net. So, then he's, as you say, it's so split second that I don't even think he's able to weigh up the risk in his head. He's just done what he's done. He's pulled him down like, I'm going to try and save a goal here. And in fairness, he originally was not given a red card. It was just the penalty. And then it goes to the VAR review. And I'm thinking, they're reviewing the penalty.
That's what I thought,
are they
too.
Saying that he sold the contact? Or
when he went to the booth, I was like, no pen.
Yeah. It's like, I don't really understand what he's seen here to overturn the penalty. Like, is there an offside in the build-up? Like, what could it be that he's going over for? And then when the commentators start saying, that's a red card for me, it comes back to the denial of a goal-scoring opportunity thing. I think if he almost would be more rewarded if he tried to slide for that and got it wrong, because he's tried to play the ball. Again, coming back to the double jeopardy thing. But the fact that he's just ragged him down, it was the right decision. I don't have any complaints about it. It's a bit of a shame that it came to that, because I think Mike made a really good save on a McTominay header just prior to that. Yeah. And nobody will remember that. All they'll remember is how that particular sequence ended, and that was with
Mike deserved the clean
scoring a penalty.
Because he made an unreal amount of saves. I don't know the exact amount, but maybe you could tell me.
Well, I'll put up the stat line now, because this kind of demonstrates a bit of reverse from the Lecce
Doesn't say
game.
saves, though.
No, it doesn't. It just says shots on target 7. I mean, can you presume therefore that's 7 saves, because otherwise those are goals, or maybe 6 saves because one of the shots on target will be the penalty. But and almost 2/3 of the ball there for Napoli, which is to be expected, given, as you say, they played almost the entire second half with a man advantage. 2.85 expected goals to 0.74, 2 big chances to 1, 19 shots to 6, 7 shots on target to 3, 7 corners to 1. We only had 1 corner. I wonder when the last time was that we only had 1 corner at home. So yeah, from the red card onwards, it was attack versus defense, and it did get very, very nervy in those final 30 minutes, without a doubt. And I did, strange, because when I was there, time seemed to be going so slowly, so slowly. They'd had a couple of threatening moments, and then I looked and it was like the 64th minute. It's like, there is no way we hold out here. There's no way. I was starting to think, well, 2-2 in this situation, it might not be the worst result given what's happening here. And we can all blame Estupinian, and we can say that we were battering the champions. But I actually think as time went on, barring David Neres hitting the post, and I didn't realize he'd hit the post until that that shot from behind the goal.
Well, and it was deflected from Modric. It was going in.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I actually felt that their threat kind of diminished as time went on. And then by the final sort of few minutes, I'm like, I think we're going to do this. And we did. We held on. We did it.
Well, I never felt that. I'm trying to get to the... Yeah, I'm looking at the momentum. I mean, I don't know if you can see this, but
yeah,
not very favorable for us.
No.
I said this has 94th minute equalizer written all over it, and it almost did a few times. I was really scared, to be honest, but
yeah,
we pulled it off. So
we did. Yeah, I mean, I think previous iterations of Milan teams, and most teams under that circumstance playing Napoli would have folded entirely, and we didn't. Look, was it airtight? Did we give them absolutely nothing? No. They'll probably think after the game that there were some chances that they should have taken. But I think any time that you see out a game in that situation, all I can do is applaud and commend the team for their effort. I thought the changes that were made, the obvious one was bringing Bartizaghi on, but Pulisic going off. I thought that was bit wild. Like, yeah, I thought that was a bit like, oh, really? You're taking off probably the hardest working forward that we have and someone who could be a real outlet. But I think he made that change knowing that Leao was going to come on a few minutes later and that he would then switch to leading the line. That brilliant shot of Leao and a 7-on-1. As he tries to burst away. He scored from a similar situation before against Napoli, but no dice. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah. No dice.
And no one was there to assist this time because he was all alone up top. But
yeah, poor man. Atacama came on for Salamanca's.
Atacama looked shaky, man. I mean, we talk about baptism by fire against for the Lecce guys. Like this one, every time he got on the ball, man, I got nervous. And you could see he was legitimately shaking and nervous. He got on the ball, immediately looked back and passed it as soon as he got the ball every single time. That's not a fault against him. He's young, league leaders, defending a 2-1 lead. You're down a man.
Yeah.
That's a horrible time to come in for your big game debut,
Yeah. He's playing the moment there, I think. He'd be criticised even more if he then just lumped it straight back to them or he tried to go on a run and got tackled. I think we at times we did manage the ball quite well. But you can't deny the momentum meter that you showed there kind of shows how it went for the last 30 plus minutes. Loftus-Cheek came on with 10 to go. Coni De Vinter came on for Tomori, and I said that's a load of shit. Should not be substituting a centre-back, when you're defending like this and we're hanging on and we're looking good. But it turns out that Tomori had an adductor strain. So it was kind of a false change. Fair enough. I can't complain much after that. But yeah, just the outpouring of emotion at full time. I keep talking about Modric's reactions to things happening. His first goal going absolutely wild. But there's a brilliant clip in the 96th minute of him leading the press still. Yeah. He pushes out to go and challenge the ball carrier, and then he drops back into position. Just little things like that, setting the standards at 40 years of age. And then moments later, when the full-time whistle goes, he drops to his knees and he's shouting. And that is just this is a player that's won absolutely everything, and he's hungrier than ever to keep winning. And I think these wins are meaning a bit more for him because he understands his status as a leader within this squad, but it's his boyhood team.
And a part of it is also proving to himself that he could do it still. I mean, let's not pretend like he wasn't essentially frozen out of that Madrid squad last year, right? I mean, obviously he played a lot of games, but they all were bench performance. Very few from the first minute. And I think a lot of people are saying, he's done now. He's washed. He's 40. We've replaced him. And now he's playing a full 90 week in, week out. And he's arguably the best on the pitch outside of the guy who's getting a goal and assist every game, It's
that Croatian connection.
Yeah.
Modric.
There was a commentator at full time, and he's like, Milan and these Croatians, you think Modric, Pulisic? And then he goes, Ibrahimovic. And everyone goes, no. And he goes,
no,
we're all not Croatian descent. And they go, Zlatan Serbian. And he goes, oh, well, they got the IC. Everyone's like, bro, what are you doing?
The IC. Yeah. Sons of itches.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Bosnian and he's Latin.
That could be the title.
Anyway,
son of an itch.
Son of an itch. Yeah. Modric in Serie A so far this season ranks first in completed passes in the opposition half, line breaking passes, possession won, which surprised me. So he's like doing the combative side of things better than anybody thought, and interceptions. It's just so symbolic of how he's an all-round midfielder for us, and he's absolutely brilliant. And I think obviously Rabiot, we've sung his praises. I think he's been excellent since he came in, and he's actually helping Modric to do a lot of the areas that he excels in, which is basically everything. But also Fofana, I think he's done pretty well, to be honest. I think we all know that the next evolution is when Jashar is fully fit. He comes in and hopefully does the Fofana thing even better. But for now, I think there's a reason that Allegri likes him there, and I think he's actually doing better than he's being given credit for from a lot of our fans. And Gabbia is another unsung hero for me. I thought, as I said, we weren't watertight there, down a man. They did still have some opportunities, but Gabbia, as the anchor of that defence that had to change, thought he was brilliant. Honestly, I thought he was absolutely brilliant.
For me, it's been Tomori in the back line. I mean, his runs, his vision, his passing, just over the last 3 games, has been a level we've never seen from him. I know it's a very small sample size of 3 games because the first 2 wins of this 5-game run weren't that convincing. It was like, okay, these are gritty performances. We pulled it out. But the last 3 have been domination. And in that span, Tomori has been just incredible. I mean, if he wants that national team call-up, he definitely deserves it for this little tiny stretch. And if he continues like that, which unfortunately, he just got injured, so he probably isn't, but that was the most impressive thing to me. I mean, the back line, total reinvention, and it's the same players, which is the most surprising part. That's how you know the coach matters. When you have the exact same players playing the exact same positions, and one season they're letting in 50 goals, the other season they're keeping clean sheets for 5 straight or whatever, 4 straight. I mean, what changed, right? The manager, and it's been impressive. Even Pavlovic, who is still a headless chicken running around, has been solid, and everything's great.
The more that time passes, the more I can see why Allegri likes Pavlovic, because I think he's got some qualities from the obviously some of the top centre backs that he had during his time at Juve. But he just needs a bit of refining. He's still relatively young as well. He's 24, isn't he? So there's, even though he looks about 35, there's still room to grow with him. And I fully agree about Tomori. And I think if Loftus-Cheek can get an England recall, then Tomori, he can't be a million miles off. That Moretto said we're in talks with Tomori over a contract extension because his deal expires in 2027. I think if you rewind 4 months, 90% of the fan base would have been against that. Now it's probably flipped to 90% being in favour. So that shows, as you say, same personnel, but such an improved defensive record. The power of coaching. You don't always have to sign your way out of every problem. You can just have a coach who knows how to improve the parts that he has.
I said over the summer that I think we were signing our way out of the defensive problem by bringing in Coney de Winter, who even in this game looked great. Every game he's played, I've been very happy with him, and I'm holding strong to he will be one of our better defenders. But that route in the starting lineup is becoming very difficult for him because everyone else is just holding it down, locking down that spot, which is good. Having bench center backs being starting level for most clubs in your league is a very good thing. Very good problem to have. And all of a sudden we have that depth up top too. If Nkunku's scoring, if Pulisic's scoring, Leao's Leao. All of a sudden, Jimenez starts getting goals. Now we have 4 strikers, essentially, because that's what they're playing, who can put the ball in the back of the net or assist. I mean, this depth came out of nowhere, and our squad list is smaller than it's been the last few seasons.
Yeah.
And yet we really have options off the bench for every position. Bartazagi for Estupinian, potentially an upgrade. Terriciano for Mignon. We all feel safe. The whole midfield of Fofana, Ricci, even Loftus-Cheek is looking fine right now off the bench. Like, we're good right now. It's fingers crossed, it's only a few games played, but all of a sudden everyone's a well-oiled machine, and it's just ticking like a really, really finely tuned watch, and I'm super happy.
Finely tuned watch. I like that. Nice bit of imagery.
Yeah. Almost like a Omega Seamaster. Speedmaster. I'm an idiot. I don't even know my expensive watch.
Seamaster.
That is one of their watches, it's not mine.
Depth resistance. Yeah. Player and top and flop of the match for Napoli. And then we'll...
For Napoli? Ooh, let me talk some shit. I'm going to say De Bruyne is their flop of the match.
Oh, no, I meant for us, because we've not done our top.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we've done that Estupinian as the flop.
Yeah, Estupinian's our flop for sure. For me, the top, it's between Modric and Pulisic. I feel like you got to go Pulisic because of the immediate impact in the opening 30, goal and assist, that crazy run. He also had an incredible through pass to Fofana in, I think, like the 20th minute, 22nd minute that cut every line. It was like 40 yards, and he ended up with a shot on target that was saved. That was our one corner. And I mean, you can't. It's really hard to argue against Pulisic, but if you're going to, the answer is Modric, and I will accept that as well.
Yeah, I think Pully is the answer. It's funny because I was thinking, Salamak, has he scored that goal? Could he be a shout? No, actually, he struggled, to be honest, aside from the goal that he scored. He had a bit of difficulty when asked to do defending. Flop Estupinian for obvious reasons. Let's move on. Let's do Juve. This is big. We've just gone from one top of the table clash to another. I mean, Juve are a point behind, but same principle applies. If they beat us, then they have a chance to go top, depending on what the other results are. There's 3 teams tied on 12 points at the moment: us, Napoli, and Roma. Juve on 11, Inter on 9, Atalanta, Cremonese also on 9. So it's pretty congested at the moment. You can have a bad week and drop a few places. And this Juventus game is away from home. Not that really makes a huge difference. I don't know. I mean, saw them against Atalanta in that game where they scored a relatively late equaliser to get a 1-1 draw. And I can't say that I was particularly scared by what I saw. But Juve remain this team that I think can get away with playing badly for large parts of matches and still get something. So, yeah, I don't know.
I haven't been impressed with Juve this season.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming off back-to-back 1-1 draws in the
3
league.
straight, isn't it?
Well, you've got 1-1 against Atalanta. Prior to that, they drew 1-1 at Verona, and then they drew 4-4 against Dortmund in the Champions League. And I think that Dortmund game is probably our kind of blueprint for what you can do, because they were hopeless defensively in that game. Hopeless. They could have scored more, Dortmund. So that probably shows what you can do by being quick and direct. And we know what Dortmund are like as a team. They've always kind of had that same identity, and there are aspects of it that I think the contain and counter thing is what we can kind of channel as well. But the big news really is the injuries again on both sides. Centre backs. It looks like Bremer might be out for Juve. They actually play a game against Villarreal in the Champions League this midweek, and Bremer is expected to miss that.
Yeah,
but obviously then the question mark will become whether he's fit enough to face us, and not having him would be akin to Napoli not having Bongiorno. It would feel like a pretty big absence. And then for us, you've got Tomori potentially out, but that's an easy like for like with De Winter to come in. But there is still talk that Tomori could make the game because it's a day-to-day thing. But we know what these day-to-day things have been like. So you can either have a Manian where he's back way quicker than you think, or a Leao where he's out for 40 days. So I think we're keeping our cards deliberately close to our chest on that one. But it is possible that Tomori starts. Obviously, Estupinian is suspended. Bartazagi goes straight in. I think that's a nice, easy one.
Happy with it.
And then the big question mark, the dilemma, rather than the forced selection, is what to do up front. Do you go straight to Leao Pulisic? Do you give Nkunku a start in this game and really lean into the countering thing? Or do you go with Santi? Because in theory, he's in a better rhythm because he's had more
No,
starts under his belt.
I go Pulisic and Nkunku. I mean, you could make an argument that Leao might be ready, but what I saw against Napoli was not a fit player.
No.
That's not even an attack on him. It's just we know the high levels he has, and he looked a little shaky. It was his first game all season. That's okay.
Yeah.
He also was rumored to only have 10 minutes in his leg, which is bullshit, right? If the news say you only have 10 minutes, that means one of two things. They're lying and you have 0 minutes, or they're lying and you have 40 minutes. If you have 10 minutes, you just don't play, right? Like you're not fit yet. You're not ready. So, and he came on and played essentially a full half. So he might actually get a start because we had that so much extra time after he came on that he really did get almost an entire half of football. So could he start? Yeah. Should he? Maybe no. Maybe just bring him on at halftime.
I can see a strong argument for bringing Rafa on to maybe be a bit of a game breaker, but in an ideal world, you're not in a situation where you need to chase the game. But I think, like, let's say, we're level or whatever going into the final 30 minutes. That is a great opportunity to throw someone like Leao on there. And I agree with you. I don't think they'll risk him from minute one. I also agree with you that the 10 minutes thing is really, really strange. Is it 10 minutes in his legs or is it 10 minutes in his lungs? Is it that he's actually not fit? As in, he'll blow out. And 10 minutes then becomes 30 minutes. Well, what was it? Like 20 odd minutes at a man disadvantage. So you're having to work even more hard. Yeah. So I don't know what
credit, he did drop back a lot.
He did. He did. They all put a shift in. They really did all put a shift in. And it comes back to sort of the unity thing and the solidity and putting a really high price on our goal and things like that. But when you've got someone like Leao with a completely transformed attitude in that sense, and I think it bodes really, really well. I think I'd start Nkunku too. I've seen enough of Santi for now. And I can't write him off yet. I just can't do it because I just see him getting into positions and I think there's something there with him. But if you get a big chance in a big game like this, at the moment, you want it to fall to Nkunku or Pulisic over Jimenez.
Yeah.
Jimenez is probably the 4th out of 4 that you want it to fall to because he's not in that run of form where anything he hits goes in. Whereas other players, I think they probably are in a better moment right now.
I think it's interesting also for Juventus, the way that their striker situation is going, right? With Vlahovic being linked with us all summer. They've been trying to get rid of him all summer. They sent Jonathan David for a free deadline day, big money deal for Openda. And all of a sudden it's Openda and Vlahovic getting the minutes. And Lorenzo's favorite player, Jonathan David, 0 minutes yet again. Just one of those things to think about. I don't know.
Something to reflect on.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I'm just looking here at Juve's injuries and who won't play. As said, Bremer a doubt. Francisco Conceição not expected to play. Moretti's got a thigh problem, and Arkadiusz Milik, who I'd totally forgotten was there, to be honest. He's got a leg injury. Just looking at the team that they named for their last game, Di Gregorio in goal. The back three was Gatti, Bremer, again a doubt, Lloyd Kelly. Then you had Kalulu and Cambiasso as wing backs. Kalulu was a wing back.
I mean, they're both better than ours, to be honest. I would take Kalulu back over Salad. I know Salad's been in attacking form, but defensively, I still take Kalulu.
Yeah, I just wonder how much. I don't know about Kalulu being a wing back, though. That's the only thing. I would have said he's more of a right-sided centre-back in a 3, but they've got that 3 settled, so I don't know. Koopmeiners and Thuram is the midfield pairing. They played, I don't know how to say, I think it's Vasiliji Adzic and Kenan Yildiz behind Lois Openda. But Juve, they've got players to change games. But I don't know. I can't think of them as a title contender at the moment. I can't make that leap. And yet they're up there. They've had a good start. So what do we think of them?
I think they're up there, but I don't think they're competing for the title. They'll be a Champions League contender for sure. Not to win the Champions League, obviously. I mean, just to qualify for next season. I want to clarify that before there's an angry comment. But I didn't think that they would even keep the manager this year. I thought they were looking for someone new, and I thought maybe if they start bad, they'll go to Palladino. I think Inter's going to get Palladino because Kivu is not it. I do want to actually mention that head-to-head clash between Inter and Juventus because it was 4-3 in Juventus's favor, and that made it look like, okay, this is a barn-burning team. But the reality is it just shows Inter's defensive lacks, and it also shows Juventus's because Inter's attack hasn't been very good this season either. And a 4-3 game is not solid. And then the next game after that was 4-4 for Juventus. So I think what we're seeing is a team very susceptible to quick fire counterattack, something that we excel in, something that if Leao can play a full 90 and do, I mean, he's that guy, right? Luckily, Pulisic is also that guy at the moment. You don't need to put Leao in. You don't have to risk him. I mean, the fact that we're sitting here talking about a top of the table title contending clash and we don't need to risk Leao. Last season, if you told me we were competing against Juventus for first place and Leao just came back from injury, so you take that risk.
Yeah, you're playing with one leg. But yeah, no, that is a good point. That I was just looking at the bench that Juve had for the last game because I was convinced that I'd looked at it and thought, oh, that's really stacked. Juan Cabal came on and got the equalising goal in that one, obviously. As you said, Jonathan David, unused sub. João Mario came on. Weston McKennie, Filip Kostic, Eden Žigrova, Dusan Vlahovic, Manuel Locatelli, Mattia Perin. It's not a bad bench. Like they've got a bit of depth there. And yeah, the ability. I mean, I'm already resigned to Vlahovic scoring in this one. I just think the stories, it writes itself, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, we pursue him all summer and decide that he's perhaps not worth that extra economic effort to make it happen. And he started the season really well, to be fair to him. And it wouldn't surprise me if he started this game as well, even though his Juve future remains up in the air. It's tough to call this. I think I'm leaning towards a draw, which I know feels pretty conservative, but I think I would take it as well. You know, I said before the Napoli game, I think I'd accept a draw if offered it. But then as we approach the game and the news comes about Napoli's injuries and, you know, Juve draw, so all of a sudden we've got an opportunity to send a statement by winning and going top. I couldn't deny that the chance was there, you know? So I thought, let's go for it. This one, I'm a bit more like, it can be a tough place to go. I think they will be very good at home this season, Juventus. And they've still got weapons. One apiece. I'm going to say a 1-1 draw. Vlahovic for them and Pulisic for us.
My concern here is, what's the preparation like? After such a massive game like Napoli, such a physically and emotionally draining game, given, you know, the way it all played out, how prepared will they be for Juventus back to back like that? If this was, you know, if we played Juventus first over Napoli, I would be very confident and say this is a 2-0 win. Given that Napoli just happened and the way it went down, how much of a break did they take, you know, on the Monday? I guess it's only been one day, but I know Allegri said we're right back into training from tomorrow after the game. So if they're back in it and their head screwed on, and I think Modric is going to help with that mentality of, guys, we haven't won anything yet. It was just a big game, and he showed the most emotion. But he's going to want that win against Juventus as well. As a boyhood Milan fan, he's going to want Napoli. He's going to want Juventus. He's going to want Inter. So he's going to show up and ready, and I think that's going to help the others do it. So I'm still confident, and I'm going to say this is a 2-0 victory. I think we're keeping a clean sheet.
I really hope you're right.
Me too.
Really, really hope you're right. To keep a clean sheet, you know, I'd sign up for that now. I'd sign up for a 0-0. I just think defensively, we've that first round defeat against Cremonese is the only open play goals that we've conceded this season, you know, which is crazy because obviously De Bruyne's was a penalty. So yeah, the defensive record seems to be something that we're priding ourselves on at the moment. And if we could go there and shut them out, that would be massive. I think it's unlikely, but we'll see. Right. I wanted to ask one question. I know we haven't got a load of time, but I really liked this question. It's a little bit more lighthearted. Actually, it's kind of two into one. Reese P, maybe Reese's Pieces. If you were the one that got to choose the kit provider, which brand would you choose? No monetary reasons. He likes Kappa. And history teacher Steve said, similar question, if you could bring back one sponsor, what would it be?
I think it's the obvious Adidas and probably Opal as a shirt sponsor. Honestly, I think I keep Emirates. I do like Emirates. I think it's one of the cleaner looking sponsors, and it's just all the big clubs have it. Or you know what? We could do the B-Win right there that I got. You know, that's also a good shirt. Or here's a crazy shout. No shirt sponsor. I think Chelsea has looked very clean since they dropped them. And I think our anniversary shirt that I also have up there without a sponsor looks nice. So no sponsor.
Yeah.
Go back Adidas.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of sponsorless shirts. I really, really like them. I think they look way more clean, and it's like a throwback to a bygone era almost. But I can't complain about any of the sponsors that Milan have had. They're not like offensive logos or anything. They're usually just text. It's like the Fly Emirates thing is essentially just text. It's not a big block sponsor or anything. Some of the hideous ones that you see that are really intrusive. I'm going to say, I like Adidas, but specifically the trefoil, from the 90s, like the Adidas Originals. And Motta was my favourite sponsor, because obviously it's a Milan-founded cafe business. Yeah. So I really like that. I think and there is a Holy Grail shirt. I think it might be 93, 94. I could be wrong on that. But it is the Adidas Originals with the Motta sponsor. There's like some iconic pictures of Maldini wearing it and stuff. That's a beauty. That might be our best home shirt, to be honest. But yeah, I liked that question. We'll wrap it up there because we've gone on for a while here.
Yes, and I have a meeting in 20 minutes, so...
Excellent. Right. Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. Glad that we could be in such a good mood for this one. In the meantime, check out the Substack. Find me on Twitter at Ollie Fisher. AJ, cheers for joining.
Yep. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for being loyal through the hard times and the good. And we'll be here for another win next week. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah. Bonus pod later in the week. Another main pod early next week. In the meantime, have a fantastic week, everyone.